Good evening, everyone. It is Sunday night. Hopefully, you've had a wonderful weekend and spent some time with family and friends and fellowship. We're going to talk about week 4 and some of the upcoming tasks that you have. And then there'll be a second video that will highlight the interview paper that is due at the end of the week. So let's go ahead and get started on the tasks for week 4. The first thing to do is to watch this video, so you've already got that done, so one item off the list already. You've got 3 readings, chapter 4 out of the Green Book on the influences on organizational leadership, and then 2 articles which are on your Blackboard page. Gunert, School Culture versus School Climate, and Lunenberg, Understanding Organizational Culture. So the theme for the week, if you haven't figured that out, is to look at school culture and school climate, and I found this pretty interesting this week. The readings as I was preparing for this, coming from a high school background where school climate and culture was a huge part of what was happening on a week by week basis. Don't have much elementary school experience to compare it to, but when I worked middle school, the school culture was nothing comparable to what it was like at a big high school. Number one, there's a lot more kids, but culture revolves so much around the activities of the students, whether it be athletics or band competitions and academic decathlons and all of that. Those other things that play such a crucial role in building a climate and a culture. So you're going to do some readings on that. You're going to complete the learning module, hopefully. So once again, those are not graded, so I'm making sure you know that they're not graded, but some great information there. It'll reinforce some of the topics from the readings and give you some great information to use in your discussion board post. And then you have your discussion board post, and the discussion board for this week is to tell us, what do people first see or feel when they walk onto your campus or workplace? What message does that send to them? I think a lot of times it would do you a great service to walk into your front office from the perspective of a new parent or someone from the outside coming in, and how are they treated, or how are they welcomed into your campus? What is the first thing they feel when they bring their children to drop them off with us to nurture them? Another good way to do that is, have you ever tried to call your school office during business hours, during the middle of the day, to see how friendly the office reception or the student worker is that is taking the phone calls? If somebody even answers a phone, or if it goes to an automated phone call. But that's a lot of times that's what the people see and get when they are trying to reach out to the school. So that first impression can go a long way, and that's what your discussion board's about. So back up your statements with some thoughts on climate and culture from either the readings. There's a little video clip as well on the discussion board post, and basically that kind of covers it. There's some learning outcomes that are listed there on Blackboard, so I'm not going to take the time to read all of them to you, but just know that the focus for this week is to learn about school climate and school culture, and how those 2 terms are used very interchangeably a lot, and you'll learn from the readings that they are not the same thing. They are 2 completely different aspects of the school environment. So school culture, school climate, and the structures and how that all plays out is the focus for this week. One last thing before I let you guys go, and that is Tuesday night I will hopefully see each and every one of you, except the 2 that have already emailed me, for our library research, and I sent you an email a little bit earlier tonight, so I apologize for that confusion. Library orientation is at 5 o'clock on Tuesday the 15th, not 5:30. 5 o'clock. I will see you guys there. Remember, it is a mandatory library orientation. They say it will last 45 minutes, so you'll be done by 5:45. So this is library orientation, and then there'll be another one, a couple classes down the road, very similar, but that'll help you on your research review. It is mandatory, so they will be tracking attendance. And just a little note, I'm not sure if I'm supposed to warn you about this, but attendance will be taken at the last 5 minutes of the class, so make sure you log in and stay logged in. And one last thing, I just mentioned that research review orientation. I just spent some time this evening working with some former students that are now in that research class, and they've reached out to me for some help. And one of the things that she said to me was nothing that they had done up to this point had adequately prepared them for the workload of the research class. So I just want to, I kind of talked about this last week in our face-to-face session, but know that, as a master's level program, the pace does pick up quite a bit. And when your professors start advising you to be thinking about thoughts on your research project, or how to write your lit reviews, or some of you may have seen how I graded your papers and nitpicked some of your APA references, this will all come back to help you when you start this research review. So just keep focusing on that. Be thinking about some of the things that you might want to try to implement on your action research project, because if you can at least have your topic down and be thinking about some research possibilities, that will save you a lot of heartache down the road. So that covers it for the week 4 preview. I will see you guys in a few moments on the video to discuss the interview project.